Hi friends, a very warm welcome to our channel. I'm Chanda Mama and this is your Chanda Mama bringing you a new story in this episode. The story's title is The Paternal Love. So let's go towards the story. King Suravarma, who once ruled Patali, was a very cruel person. He was valorous in war as he was merciless to those who were defeated to him. In his rule, even petty crimes were punished with death. And the death sentence was carried out in the most brutal manner. The criminal was neither hanged nor beheaded. He was made to fight with wild animals caught in the jungle. Suravarma witnessed with joy the sight of the lions and tigers tearing the poor victims to death. Though the king was such a cruel man, but he was extremely fond of his son Chandravarma. He was his only child. Unlike his cruel father, Chandravarma was an exceedingly gentle and kind-hearted boy. He could not make anyone unhappy in the least way. Chandravarma had a very dear friend named Subudhi. They were not only of the same age but they looked very much alike, as though they were twins. The two boys were taught up by the same teacher who taught them archery and the sword play too. They were 20 years old when Survarma marched against the kingdom of Jayanta. They were given the first opportunity to fight in this war. They had never seen fighting before. It was not a prolonged war. King Ranajit of Jayanta suffered a heavy defeat, left his palace and hid himself in a secret place in the forest, very known to few. The first thing that attracted Suravarma's attention when he entered the palace was the tearful princess Urmila. She was a very rare beauty and charm. She was the only child of King Ranajit of Jayanta. Suravarma fell in love with her at the very first sight. He thought that the princess was worth more than his victory in war and the kingdom which he had conquered. Prince Chandravarma also fell in love with the princess Urmila the moment he set his eyes on her. But the tears caused him much distress. He was sorry that he too should have a hand in the victory of Jayanta, which was the cause of the girl's distress. He was also afraid that his merciless father might get the princess or her father killed by the wild beasts. Finding the opportunity to talk to the princess alone, Chandravarma said to her, "Please stop worrying about the defeat. Your tears distress me most. I wish I were lying dead in the battlefield rather than seeing you weep. I shall talk to my father and see that he signs the peace in such a manner that it will not disgrace either side. I am sure my father will not deny me this." In the beginning, Urmila did not have a good opinion of Chandravarma. He was one from the enemy camp. But she soon changed her mind and gradually began to put all her hopes in him. Suravarma never thought his son too was in love with Princess Urmila. On the other hand, he suspected that the princess was trying to befriend the boy in order to gain something for her father. He thought of preventing his son from falling into her clutches, so he sent to Chandravarma and said to him, "Son, King Ranajit has escaped. There is no one with whom I can sign the peace. I have ordered a search for the missing king. I am afraid this affair will take him, and I want you to stay in the camp and look after it, so that there won't be any disorderliness there. I shall send for you at the time of the signing of peace treaty." Chandravarma had to leave for the camp, though he hated parting from the sweet princess. "Brother," he told Subudhi before he left, "keep in touch with the princess. She has now none in the world except you and I. You know, too, how hard-hearted is my father. I wanted you to send me news every day. I also depend upon you to keep the princess cheerful." Then he went away to the military camp. As soon as Chandravarma departed, Suravarma went to see the princess, said to her kindly, I want you to look upon me as a friend, not a foe. I do not intend to harm either to your family or to your country. I stipulate only one condition. In order to sign the peace treaty with your father. That condition is that you shall marry me. I want this to be conveyed to your father. He also instructed his guards not to treat the princess like a prisoner, but to let her move about freely inside the palace. At the same time, he set two reliable men to spy upon the princess and her movements. Urmila conveyed Suravarma's message to the minister so that he could pass it on to her father in his hideout. Then she sent for Subuddhi. Suravarma's spy saw Subuddhi enter the chamber of the princess and informed the king, Suravarma, about it. Suravarma ordered his soldiers to arrest Subuddhi and throw him into the prison at once. Before this order was executed, Subuddhi managed to learn from the princess that Suravarma intended to marry her. While she, in her turn, was in love with his son, Subuddhi promised that the princess that she would send this news to Chandravarma. But before he could do so, he was arrested and imprisoned. King Ranajit got the minister's message. He left his hideout and returned to the palace by a secret passage. He expressed his willingness to give his daughter Urmila in the marriage to the king Suravarma. The same day was fixed for both signing the peace treaty and the marriage of the princess with the king. Meanwhile, Prince Chandravarma eagerly awaited his friend's message, but there was none. He got perturbed. He heard certain rumors in the camp and they upset him still more. It was said that the defeated king was back and that a treaty would be signed soon. That the date was fixed when the soldiers were to return home and so forth. Unable to bear the awful suspense, Chandravarma left the camp one night and started for the city in the ordinary dress. On the way, he heard people say that his father was going to soon marry the princess Urmila next day. He also learned that his friend Subuddhi was imprisoned for treachery. Chandravarma entered the fort and straightway went to the prison. There he told the guards who he was and he ordered to take him to Subuddhi. My lord, the guards said to him, the poor man is going to be killed by lions tomorrow. It is not good to talk to him right now. Chandravarma's stomach turned at the news. Yes, he said. I have to get some secret information from him right now. It will be too late tomorrow. Take me to him at once. One of the guards accompanied the prince to Subuddhi's cell. Though it was past midnight, Subuddhi was not asleep. He sat against the wall in a corner of the cell with his face in his hands and elbows on knees. Chandravarma called him by name. Subuddhi did not look up. Who are you? He said. I have nothing to say to you. Get out of here. Chandravarma signaled to the guard and sent him away. Then he closed the door of the cell, approached Subuddhi and said, It is I, Subuddhi, Chandravarma. Subuddhi got up with a start and embraced his friend. Let us change clothes, the prince said. I'll take your place in the cell and you'll get away in my clothes. Never, said Subuddhi emphatically. They are throwing me to the lions tomorrow. But it was I that brought it upon you, the prince said. Why should I die? Put on my clothes at once. Subuddhi did not yield for a long time. In the end, the prince had to order him to do his bidding. They then changed clothes. The prince sat against the wall exactly as Subuddhi had done. While Subuddhi went out, the guard came back, took one look at the prisoner in the corner, locked the door and went away without suspecting anything. The day of Suravarma's wedding dawned. The guests were to be entertained with the spectacle of the prisoner's fight with the lion. Before the wedding took place, an arena was built up for the fight right in the middle of the court. The lion was brought into the arena. King Suravarma sat on a high seat with King Ranajit and Princess Urmila on either side of him. Besides them, there were a number of soldiers, officers, and a common people come to witness the ghastly spectacle. Then Chandravarma was brought out of his cell. They gave him a lance and a shield and pushed him into the arena. His hair was disheveled and no one could identify him in the prisoner's clothes. Even King Suravarma mistook him for Subuddhi. The lion at first looked at him once and turned his head away indifferently. Suravarma ordered loud trumpets to be blown near the lion in order to enrage him with fear. Then he shook his mane and jumped at Chandravarma. Chandravarma covered himself with the shield and jumped aside. He tried but failed to reach him with his lance. The lion was now well aroused. He roared frightfully and attacked the prince with his forepaws. This time the prince managed to wound the lion. Unable to witness this unequal battle between man and the beast, Princess Urmila covered her face with her hands. The fight gave joy to none save Suravarma. He observed that the prisoner was managing remarkably well to keep himself alive, but he was anxious and even eager to see the beast outdo the man. While the fate of the prince hung in the balance, a man ran to King Suravarma, shouting, "O king, save the prince, let not the lion kill him." Suravarma saw Subuddhi and recognized him at once. He knew that the man fighting the lion was not Subuddhi, but his own son. He felt that he was going mad. "Save my son! Save him from the lion! My son!" he shouted. The moment Princess Urmila realized that it was Chandravarma who was defending himself against the lion, she fell down in a swoon. There was consternation among the people. It seemed to affect the lion too. Suddenly, Chandravarma got the chance which he had been waiting for, and he pierced the lion to its heart while it looked away in distress at the noise of the people were making. Lion uttered a sharp grunt and fell down dead. Suravarma was a changed man. He embraced his son and wept like a woman. He had many times enjoyed the sight of a tiger or a lion killing a man, but it now pained him indescribably to think that he had wanted to see a lion kill his own son. The pain lasted all his life, and he indulged in warfare and man and beast fights no more. Princess Urmila was married to Prince Chandravarma. So this was the story published in the Chandamama magazine for you, my dear friends. Till I come back with a new video in the new episode, stay safe, stay care, and in case if you have not liked our channel, do like, share and subscribe and comment to our channel. I'm Chandamama. This is your Chandamama signing off. Take care. Bye bye. Thank you.